welcome to this edition of Steelers Weekly. Tonight you'll see some of the best content from Steelers.com that aired throughout the week. Let's get started.
An inside linebacker from Michigan, number 55, Devin Bush.
And it's going to be picked off again, and it's Devin Bush. So it could be a live football, and that's Devin Bush who's going to go into the end zone. Touchdown. Bush has really made a mark early in his career. They traded up to get him in the first round.
All right, Devin, you guys get the win. You are named the AFC Defensive Player of the Week. It's your bye week. You go home and your high school jersey is retired. Is it safe to say you had a pretty good bye week?
Yeah, I had a good week. To put that type of week together is probably unheard of, really. But it was definitely something I'll remember forever.
The Chargers game, did you feel like you put together that kind of performance to earn that honor?
I think, yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I was just going out there just to, win. We didn't get a win in the week before, so our main thing was get a win before the bye week. And
take me back to Florida and just maybe the emotions as you can kind of look back now of going back to your high school where it all started and they retired your jersey. Yeah. That's a really big deal.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was a lot of things to think about, but I was just more happy to see all those familiar faces, where it all started. And being able to come back and give back and, show my face in my community, that meant a lot to me.
Was there something that maybe surprised you or maybe caught you off guard during that entire retirement ceremony?
It was the amount of people that came back. People I haven't seen in over, 5-6 years, and they come back and everybody's growing up and look different and doing different things. So it was cool to see all those faces again.
In terms of your play, do you go back and look at the first half of the season, the first half meaning before the bye, and maybe what you've done good and maybe things you can improve on?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a week by week thing. I mean, each game you do something good, you do something you can clean up. So I think as the season goes, you kind of get into that phase of looking back on the week before, what could you work on to improve in the next week.
You are the only rookie in the top 10 in terms of total tackles in the league. Does that mean anything to you?
It's motivation to stay in the top 10 and keep climbing my way up there as the season goes.
Another interception. This by Devin Bush. And it is Devin Bush who comes up with that fumble. Devin Bush has the ball out of the air.
Leading the league with takeaways. Do you have a favorite one out of the 6 so far?
Honestly, all of them are kind of special to me in different ways and, different situations of the game and, different stakes. But I think all of them are pretty special. I don't got a favorite one yet.
There's not one that sticks out, though?
Not yet. Not yet.
So that means there's more to come.
Exactly.
Okay, we'll take that. We had a chance to talk to Jerry Olszewski, your position coach, last week, and he said the one thing about you is that he never tries to hold you back or assume there's something you can't do. He said very similar to how he treated Ryan Shazier.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you guys have that relationship?
Yeah, like you said, he's always, preaching like, hey, look, if you mess up, you keep going, you're a good enough player to adjust and get over that adversity. So, I mean, he kind of doesn't hammer me too hard when, I make a mistake or something. He's kind of just more encouraging.
He said he's never shocked when you make a crazy play, even talking about the Chargers game, the touchdown, then the interception. Do you ever surprise yourself?
Sometimes I do.
Really?
In the moment, it's like, nah, I'm playing football. But after, I'm like, nah, I really did that. It may not be a highlight play, but it's like, something, whether I defeated a block or, I put a move on somebody or something, coverage-wise, anything, that's like, okay, wow, like I did that. It's good.
I know there is enough to worry about in-house just in terms of riding the ship, getting some more wins, stacking some wins, but when your name is being thrown around for Defensive Rookie of the Year, do you listen to it? Do you take it in? Do you not pay attention? How do you deal with that?
I kind of don't pay attention to it. I feel like, this is a team sport. We only going to be as good as we are as a team, and you don't win nothing. Not one person can win, a football game. It's not. Me continue to take care of business. I feel like a lot of things will, come.
Does it mean anything that you're playing the Dolphins for the first time in your
yeah,
NFL
I mean,
career?
I think the Dolphins game, just being from, Florida and being in that area, I mean, you always grew to like those colors in the Dolphins, and I mean, to be able to go out there and take the field and line up against, I think it's going to be more than what I think it is.
We've already been through a Monday night game, even at home. Do you still get juiced up for it, excited that it is a primetime game? You know what the crowd's going to be like and that other people are going to be watching?
Yeah. My favorite game is becoming Monday night.
Let's see, the first statement, I think you both said the same thing, just in different ways, even though you both disagreed with each other. So I'm going to throw that one out.
We do that.
Because
I think we should get credit for doing that.
I'm giving you credit for that. Here was this week's edition of Agree to Disagree. No bye-week blues here for us on Agree to Disagree, the show with the motto,
I'm still
We're
right.
right.
He's
They're
still
wrong.
wrong.
Clearly some time off did not help. Statement number one,
Good
don't
read, Cordell.
overthink the offensive and defensive game plans. Labs, you're first.
Agree. I mean, the Dolphins are 0-6. They're 0-6 on merit. They have earned their 0-6 record, and there are 11 major statistical categories in which the Miami Dolphins currently rank either last in the NFL or second to last in the NFL, and 2 of those 11 are points scored and points allowed. They are bad, they are winless, so just play fundamentally sound football. You don't have to get tricky, you don't have to get creative. You should be able to block and tackle this team right into oblivion. Don't make any mistakes that typically come with trying to be too creative or tricky. Win the game, then get prepared for Indianapolis the following Sunday.
Pursuta?
I'm going to disagree. My esteemed colleague is correct in reading the stat sheet, but I think the Dolphins' story this year has been a tale of two teams. The one in September was wretched. It was historically bad. Miami got to its bye. The Dolphins have come out of that. They were 2-point conversion away from beating the Redskins, who agreed, understandably, aren't very good. And very competitive against Buffalo last Sunday. I think you treat this like a regular game. You do what you have to do to win the game. You do not treat it like a layup, like all you have to do is show up and step out onto the Heinz Field turf and run these guys over. Ryan Fitzpatrick is an NFL quarterback. He's a playmaker. He's capable. Miami is running the ball well up the middle all of a sudden. For 2.5 quarters at least, the Dolphins were really good defensively on third down against Buffalo. Do whatever it takes, but assume nothing before you figure out what you need to do.
All right. Statement number 2. James Conner is the offensive linchpin. Mike, you're going to go first this time.
He is. The guy I saw against the Chargers is the guy the Steelers are going to need to see at least for the next couple weeks here, if not for the rest of the season. The quarterback position is what it is. The offense looked similar to me with Duck playing as it did with Mason Rudolph playing. I think the intermediate passing game is going to be sporadic at best. The down the field game might be a bridge too far. They're going to need to lean heavily on James Conner. And while I know he is going to need some help from the offensive line, I also know that there are plays designed for the running back to make a guy miss. James Conner was outstanding against the Chargers. He was hard to tackle. He was making people miss in the open field. He was effective in the running game and the passing game. He knew where the sticks were. He was the best offensive player on the field for the Steelers. He needs to keep being that, and he's got to keep not fumbling.
I'm gonna disagree with the statement. I do agree, however, with everything Mike said about the importance of James Conner, what the Steelers are going to need from James Conner. They are going to need James Conner, Pro Bowl running back from here on out. However, this is professional football, and so the quarterback is the linchpin of the offense. The quarterback will always be the linchpin of the offense because unless you're getting creative and tricky with Wildcat, the quarterback is the only guy besides the center who touches the ball on every play. I think it's too much to assume that the intermediate passing game is going to be spotty at best. and any kind of deep passing game is going to be non-existent. The Steelers are going to need both of those elements in their offense to continue to be successful over the course of the rest of this regular season. The Steelers are not in a position where they can eliminate one facet of the offense, and they're good enough in other areas to win all of these games because they just about have to win out.
All right. Let's see. The first statement, I think you both said the same thing, just in different ways, even though you both disagreed with each other. So I'm going to throw that one out.
We do that.
Because
I think we should get credit for doing that.
I'm giving you credit for that.
These women here are the true warriors, and to see the smiles on their faces and how they view us and how they look at us, and I like to think that our food was pretty good, so we had a good time.
Today to cook for everybody here, and it was just a wonderful time, and we learned something new every day. And this is one of the things I learned I could take with me home and fix everything there.
Man, I've been cooking my whole life. I used to make the best peanut butter jelly. So we made a soft taco. We made a shrimp taco with a marvelous dressing, with a nice cabbage slaw on the side, Brussels sprout slaw on the side. I apologize. And for dessert, we made like a berry custard pie. So it was fun.
Yeah, it's a wonderful event just for them to take the time out of their busy schedules midweek. We know they have big practices, they have big games coming up that they're focused on, and it's so important for them. But it just shows how connected to the community they are to take that time to come and meet with our patients and spend the time here.
Man, it was marvelous. These women here are the true warriors, and to see the smiles on their faces and how they view us and how they look at us, and I like to think that our food was pretty good, so we had a good time. I'm glad I came, and it was truly a blessing.
I have breast cancer. I was just diagnosed this year in April. I've finished my chemo. I'm just very, very blessed with having the opportunity to be here, having the opportunity to be a survivor and be where I'm at.
Everybody, we are back with your keys to the game, getting ready for Monday night, presented by your neighborhood Ford store. I am joined, as always, by TUNCH Ilkin and Arthur Moats, and you are going to keep our winning streak alive, so you're starting first again today.
Yes, indeed. We have to keep the streak alive,
Right.
and in order for the Steelers to do that, defensively, Bud Dupree and the D linemen have to take advantage of this offensive line from the Dolphins that has been very out of whack. I mean, each week they started a different combination of guys up front. And you as an offensive lineman can attest to when you don't have that continuity, it struggles. It causes a lot of issues for you guys.
Arthur, especially on twists, because they are at different levels. You watch them, and twists are going to kill these guys. So, Bud, whether it's TJ, whether it's Ola, you run those twists, and I guarantee. And I'm watching their offensive line. They play careful. I'm going. What? They're pitter-pattering around on traps and stuff.
And we said we got two type of trap blockers, right?
Right.
The guys that try to knock you out and the guys that try to position block.
Right.
These are the position block
That's
type.
right.
And as a defender, you love going against those guys because they don't want it to hurt.
I know Vinny's going to fill and light these guys
Absolutely.
up. Yeah. My key is go back to smash mouth football. You got Rosie healthy. You got a fullback. Let's run the lead. Let's run the counter trap with Rosie. These guys have given up 965 yards rushing, 4.7 average. I want us to attack and establish the running game, eat the clock, move the chains. And Arthur, when and you know this playing on defense, when you run the ball effectively and the linebackers and safeties are jumping up on a play fake, now downfield.
Now you can hit the shot,
yeah.
absolutely. And we know Mason is chomping at the bit to get
Right.
back out there and to take some of those shots. And when you think about the success that Benny Snell and James Conner had in their previous game against
Right.
the Chargers, let's get that thing going again.
Yeah, I would love it, Missy. And the thing about it is, once you establish the running game, you can throw the ball deep on play action.
Thanks for stealing my key, but I want to open up the passing game, not just because you want to, Tunch. Mason Rudolph has said it this week. Randy Fichtner has talked about it. It's something they have to do. They have not had success. Yes, it's the fourth quarterback change this season so far for the Steelers. You know Mason's your guy. He's healthy. He's out of that concussion protocol. Nice long bye, nice long week leading up to Monday night. They have to open up that passing game. And they got to get this win.
Well, and this is a great opportunity for Mason to do that, so I do agree with you 100%.
Yeah, they've given up 1,500 yards through the air. I don't know. I think they're at the bottom of all categories on defense. And Missy, you know, one of the reasons that I would like to see the going down, Mason going downfield is because it's going to help when we play Indy and when we play the LA Rams. So, you know, you can build on what you do Monday night.
Right, start to get that identity of what they want this offense to be. All right, those are our keys to the game for Steelers versus Dolphins on Monday night at Heinz Field. And then TJ Watt hurt in the Chargers game. He was limited on Thursday. Today he was full, so as Coach Tomlin would say, his arrow is pointed up. The bad news, however, Mark Barron dealing with that hamstring injury.
I think we just got to play our ball and go out there and do our job, execute.
Happy Friday, everybody. No status report just yet as the Steelers are preparing for their Monday night game against the Dolphins at Heinz Field, but we do have your practice report for Friday, so let's take a look at it. There is some good news. The guy you just heard there, Juju Smith-Schuster, returned to practice today. He was full. He was sick yesterday. And then TJ Watt hurt in the Chargers game. He was limited on Thursday. Today he was full, so as Coach Tomlin would say, his arrow is pointed up. The bad news, however, Mark Barron dealing with that hamstring injury. He was full yesterday but limited today, so we'll stay tuned to Saturday's practice and that status report as I mentioned. But still a lot of questions on where TJ Watt will be. Can he play on Monday through that abdominal injury? His defensive coordinator, Keith Butler, was asked about that yesterday.
I've had that injury before. It's usually a pretty quick healer for the most part. But you still, like I said, you're wrestling with 320-pound men, and it's still a significant injury to try to move around a little bit, especially if it's supposed to be the muscle in between the ribs. So it's not a fun injury. I think knowing him, he's going to want to play against this team.
All right, we know Mason Rudolph is the Steelers starter at quarterback. He is healthy through the concussion protocol. He said he's been having a great week of practice. Can't wait to get back out there in the action. This, however, is the fourth quarterback change for the Pittsburgh Steelers so far in the beginning of their 2019 season. Dave DeCastro was asked today if that changes at all for the offensive line.
Not at all. Doesn't at all. You know, we never look back. It's the same with the running back question. You know, you block our different guys. It doesn't change us at all up front. So we take pride in it regardless.
Kind of, maybe it's a silly question because it implies that you wouldn't try hard in other circumstances. But when a quarterback comes back from a concussion, are you cognizant of that even more so? Not to get
it's just the nature of the position. It's always on pressure on you. You know what I mean? It's just the nature of the beast we play O-line. You always get the pressure on you to protect the guys.
Steelers rookie inside linebacker Devin Bush had himself quite the bye week. He came off with a win, was named the AFC Defensive Player of the Week for his performance against the Chargers, had his high school jersey retired, so he's living large and excited to return to action. I had a chance to sit down with him earlier this week to talk about the Steelers' 15 takeaways and the fact that he had his hand in 6 of them.
Another interception, this by Devin Bush. And it is Devin Bush who comes up with that fumble. Devin Bush has the ball out of the air.
Leading the league with takeaways. Do you have a favorite one out of the 6 so far?
Honestly, all of them are kind of special to me in different ways and, different situations of the game and, different stakes. But I think all of them are pretty special. I don't got a favorite one yet.
There's not one that sticks out, though?
Not yet. Not yet.
So that means there's more to come.
Exactly.
All right, we hope there is more to come on Monday night. It, of course, is the Steelers' Color Rush uniform night. A big fan of the fans love them, the players love them, and the Steelers, by the way, are 4-0 when wearing those Color Rush jerseys, so the Steelers hopefully able to stack some wins. This would be the first time they'd be able to stack wins this season. So again, Steelers and Dolphins Monday night at Heinz Field. As I said, Saturday is the Steelers' final day of practice. That's when we will get the status report to see who's in and who's out for the primetime game. Thanks so much for joining me today on Steelers Live. That's going to do it for us tonight. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Thanks so much for joining us tonight on this edition of Steelers Weekly. We'll see you next time.